All right, so the focus of today's podcast is where should you look? So you're doing your video, whatever it may be, content for your company or commercial or whatever. And your video producer has a style that they're going to use. And there's basically two styles. There's either looking directly into the camera and there's looking off camera. Now there's advantages and disadvantages to each, and I'll cover them really briefly so that when you're talking to your producer, or if you're a producer and you're talking to your client, you can communicate effectively with them and tell them what the advantages and disadvantages of each are. So for looking into the camera, you're engaging directly with the audience. You're talking directly to them. Now, this has a heightened sense of engagement on the other side, the audience side, but it also has kind of a jarring effect. When questions are asked, if I ask you questions like, what do you think? You feel kind of compelled to answer. It's a little less comfortable than just being a third-person observer. It's, much the same as reading a book in the first person, where it's a little disjointing, but having feeling as though the author is talking directly to you. It's also the difference between having a conversation and observing a conversation. When you're having a conversation, you feel engaged, compelled. You're thinking of what your answer is going to be. As when you're observing a conversation, you're just kind of observing. It's much more relaxed and casual. So your choice of whether you should be looking into the camera or not looking at the camera, looking off camera, for example. This is common 60 Minutes. They'll often show the other interviewer nodding, yeah, good question, whatever. But the person's looking off camera. They're not really communicating with the audience. They're just communicating something. And the audience is just a neutral observer. Which one am I looking in? This one? Oh, this one. So the choice you really want to make is not so much whether to look into the camera, not look into the camera. The question is really, what kind of relationship do you want this particular video to have with the audience? If you want it to engage directly with the audience, if you want to talk directly to me and I'm your audience, then talk directly into the camera. If you want to convey information and you don't want the audience you want them to feel relaxed and not necessarily compelled to respond or whatever, just observe what you're talking about. Then you want to do more the third person. This would be called no person. Sit down and talk to your producer, figure out first question, always the first question, what do you want this video to do? And let that be the judge of how you present the material as far as whether it's first person or third person observer. That's it for Market 7.